This is a quick video introduction for how to make a simple pixel platformer using tile maps. A tile map is a picture that you can find oftentimes online that has many different parts inside the picture, just one picture that has many parts, and all the many parts can be used or what you would like to use in your game. So I'll show you an example of that, but first let's start our new Godot project. So let's create new. I'll say Tilemap demo. You can call it whatever you'd like to. And then let's click create folder. After that, leave it in compatibility and create and edit. This will create our new game. And as it opens up, we need to go to 2D mode, of course, and we can see the start scene as usual. Now, for our purposes, I generally suggest we start off like this. We'll just click on 2D scene, and we'll rename this to be level. So this is where we will be playing the game in this box here. So we can click Command S to save. It asks us, do we want to save it as level.tscn? Yes, we do. And now we have level.tscn saved down below. We can test our game by clicking play. Nothing will happen at this point, but it's good to test very early on because the game right now, Godot, does not know that level.tscn is going to be the place where players will play the game. But this will be the place where players play the game. We plan for this, so if we have level.tscn selected here, level, we just click play, and then it asks us which scene do you want to be the game? Which scene do you want to be the start scene for the game to start with? And well, we only have one scene, level.tscn, so we just click select current, and now we're going to have a little pop-up window, and it will show the Godot logo for a second. And then this is our game. Of course, there's nothing happening here, but we did this for a reason, because now it knows that this is the main scene, and you'll see that it's highlighted in blue. There are other ways to do this. You don't have to click play every time. You can just right-click and choose to set as... I don't see the option here, but the option is there when you have other scenes, or maybe if this one is not already selected. Anyways, so this is our level. There's nothing happening here. And we are going to make a tile map, which will be able to draw all the parts and pieces that we want all over the level, which would be great. And we're going to make a character. Now, I would prefer that we make these new objects, the tile map and the character, separately from our level. And the reason that we do that is that we can make it all inside level, but if we make it separately, then we're able to make a different level. This could be level 1, for example, and we could make level 2 and use the same tile map and the same characters, but completely different level construction, for example. So to do that, we have level. This is just our base plate where things will happen. And we're going to create a new scene. And this one we're going to call tile map, but to get there, first we need to choose which kind of node is the root. So I'm going to choose other node right here, and I'm going to type in tile map. Now if I double click to select, now the root node of this new scene that we just created that's not yet saved, the root node is tile map. It is a tile map type. And I'm going to change the name, just double click here, and change the name to, well, you know what, I don't need to. I'll leave the name as is. So now I will press Command S to save this scene, and again, it's asking what to save it as. We'll save it as tilemap.tscn. Okay, now we'll create one more scene, sorry, and that will be, again, an other node. And we'll type in character, and up comes character body 2D. So there we go. Now we can rename this one to be the character name, for example, so that you don't get confused. In this case, I'm going to use the Godot icon. So I will say Godot underscore character. And you can do the same, just so that you understand. This is going to be Godot character, the little Godot pre-made asset that comes with it. Okay. Now we'll also press Command S and save Godot character.tscn, save. Now we have level, which is blank. There's nothing in the level. We have Tilemap, which will be our special tool. We're going to make this into a tool that we can use inside level to draw anything we want. And then later we can even put this in other levels too, if we wanted to. And then we have Godot character, who should be a character that can jump around and react to the world. So to get, let's start with Tilemap. So let's go to Tilemap here. Click on the Tilemap root. And then we have all of these options on the right side of the screen. We need to create a tile set. And choose new tile set. And then that's that. Now we are ready. You can go down to tile set here. You can click on new, click on that plus, and then we're going to create an atlas. But when we click on this, it asks us for where is the tile set, the picture that has all the stuff. So I'm going to cancel that. We're not yet ready. We need to go to some website where we can download a free tile set. And a very, very good website for you would be this website here called Kenney.nl, Kenney.nl. And they have lots of great resources. For example, they have this pixel platformer tile set that we can just use for free. You just click on download, and that's that. So once you download it, and then you're going to get a zip file, .zip, just double click on that .zip file so that it opens into a new folder. And in that folder, you'll have a folder like this named Kenney Pixel Platformer. So if we go back to Godot, and we go back to the downloaded folder, as you should know by now, we just click the folder of all that stuff that we just downloaded and we drag it over to the Godot window. And now we have a new folder that has all of these tile sets, the tile map, all that stuff is in here and ready to be used. So if we're here now, we have our assets. We have Tilemap, the scene, open in the editor window. We have Tilemap, the root node, selected. And then we choose tile set down here because that's asking what set will we use. We don't yet have a tile set. But if we click on plus and we choose Atlas, now, as you saw earlier, there was no Kenney folder. Now there is a Kenney folder. So I can open the Kenney folder, I can go to Tilemap, and then I can choose any of these options. Now this is the one where I'm going to be building the world with. It's called Tilemap_packed. So just open that up. And it says there, do you want to automatically create the tiles? Yes. And then I'm going to bring this up a little bit bigger and zoom in. You can zoom in with 2 fingers. You'll notice that there are now all these boxes that where I move my mouse, it highlights where it thinks a new tile is. Unfortunately, the boxes do not align with the actual tile that Kenney provided. So how do we know sorry, let me rephrase that. What we need to do is we need to change a number in a few places to be the appropriate size of the tile. So it's right now, it says rendering quality is 16, and down here in setup, it has 16, 16. So it thinks that our tile size is 16 pixels. That would be the size of this selected orange rectangle box. Instead of that, though, we need to figure out what the real size is of the picture that we have. And the great thing about Kenny is they list the size right there. It says tile size 18 by 18. So all we do is go back to Godot, and we change this number to 18, this number to 18, and this number to 18. And now we have all of the tiles are appropriately, or all the pictures are appropriately within the tile block. So there is nothing sticking out in strange places, and that means we're all set. We're just about ready to begin. As usual, when we make big changes like this, please press Command S to save. Now there's a few more things that we need. We need to have physics so that things can collide with these. So what we do is we go onto the tile set here. See how it says tile set? You just click to expand this. Sorry, don't click to expand it. Click on the tile set there to expand it. And then choose physics layers. And this is to do with this image right here that we're talking about. It's asking, do we want to add any other qualities? We do want to add physics, yes. And we just click on add, and then we're good. So that part's done. Oh, and we can also see tile size 16, 16 should not be 16, that should be 18 and 18. Okay, now we'll do Command S again to save. And now we have the option of adding collisions to any of these objects here. And for ease, I'm going to do that all in one to make it all happen at the same time. So let's go over to select here. We're in the tile set section, we select, and that just gives us the ability to choose any one of these blocks or multiple blocks. And when we choose, we have all these options over here. Because we added physics in the tile set window over here, because we did that, we now have a physics section over here. And you can just click it to see what it's going to look like, physics layer 0, and then all that, I mean, you don't have to do any of this stuff, it's not too complicated. But when we click on these, we'll see the rendered picture, and it's possible for you to draw a custom collision shape that, if anything, is colliding inside this zone. I mean, obviously it doesn't make sense for this one here, but you could do it for here, for example. You could add your own custom shape for very specific physical interactions. That way your character could even stand on top of this little edge here, or up here, or down here, and it would look much nicer than just having it be a big block. So that you have this option by clicking on any of these boxes, and then clicking to add a polygon tool inside the physics layer, and that just allows you to draw where should the collisions be. But let's do it nice and easy. Let's go over again, select all of the shapes here, and just press the, let's see, I think it's, oh, I'm pressing the wrong button now. I forgot which button. There we go, F, sorry. So you click on all of them, select all, and you press F. And what that does is it fills in, that's why it's F, I guess, it fills in the entire collision shape space. So if a character hits this box, they are going to collide up here at the very top and on the side. They will not be able to enter into this shape. If you don't like, for example, you don't like that there's this little gap of air up here where the player should be able to walk, then it is easy enough to just click the polygon corners and move them around. But you will need to do that for really everything that you plan to do. So maybe save that for later when you're really sure that you're happy with the tile set as it is. So I'm going to undo that, and I'll just leave it as is. I'll just do this as F. Okay. Great. So now all of these shapes can be used as physics objects, and they all fit within their boxes. I'm going to once again press Command S to save my Tilemap scene. Now remember, the Tilemap scene is not where we will draw our level. It's just a tool that we will use to draw levels. So we are now done making our tool. So we can go over to level where we want to draw, and we just need to drag in that new scene that we created as an object inside here, which doesn't have any physical properties, but we can use it to draw things, almost like giving us a new paintbrush. So over on the left side in your file system, minimize the Kenny Pixel Platformer window, so if it's not already, so that you can see the main scenes that you have. Remember that we created a Godot character scene, which we have not yet created as a functional character. We have the level scene, which we are looking at right now, and we have the Tilemap scene, which is like our paintbrush that we want to use, and wherever we want to use it, we just need to put it inside the scene. So I'm going to drag Tilemap in here, and you see it's showing here, but it's not a physical object. It's not actually there. If you're more comfortable, you can you can drag it somewhere else, but it's okay. It doesn't really need to go anywhere. You will not see that. But what you do see now is, now that we have Tilemap, we can select on Tilemap node, and we have this new set of tiles that we can use to draw from. And it is as easy as selecting a tile down here, and then going in here and clicking, or clicking across. And this is now a physics object with exactly as we designed in the physics properties. All of these boxes are now completely full. So if any object is to interact here, it will hit and bounce off, or if it's a character, it'll land there and be able to move around and jump. So now you have basically all you need to draw a really cool level. You can erase with the eraser tool, so if you don't like what you drew here, that's not a problem. And you can, you can basically draw anything you want to. We can just draw a big, sorry, not the eraser tool, we can draw a, there we go, rectangle. Sorry. Okay, I'm also seeing this too. The eraser is a toggle on and toggle off, so you need to turn off the eraser if you want to draw. So here we go. There we go. I can draw now. And if I wanted to make this shape wider, you just take that middle section and then just drag that out. And then this is the end because it has that. Yeah. There. Great. So one thing you might notice, I mean, we can click play. One thing you might notice is that the level is particularly small. These blocks are very tiny. And the character would be probably very tiny too. And if you don't want it to look so tiny, we need to change our project settings. So I'm going to close the game that I just started. I'm going to go to the tile map, and again, if I need to get into the tile map, if you don't see it down here, you might see it something like this. You can just click on tile map. I'm going to erase that stuff there. Cool. And save again, so I have nothing here. Now, I want this blue window to be smaller, because if I make it smaller, then those 18 pixel size blocks are now going to look much bigger when we have an expanded full screen window. And it will look much more like an old school game. So we'll go up to the very top and choose project. You probably don't see that part of my screen, I'm sorry. And choose project settings. In project settings, we go down to display, window. And then it's asking what is the width and the height for our display. If we want to make everything look bigger, then what we want to do is actually make the viewport smaller. But in practice, when you click play, that's going to make that little tiny window that's already small even smaller. So we need to do two things. one, we need to make this size smaller here, so everything on the screen is bigger by proportion. So let's go, I don't know, 800, maybe, 700. And what would we do? Maybe 300? We can try that. That might be too far different, but we'll see. And then we go over here, we have what option? Do we want it to pop up as a small window, or do we want it to pop up as full screen, or maximized, or minimized? We can try maximized, see how that goes. And then we can do stretch mode. How does the screen stretch? Right now it's set to not stretch, which would just mean that when it fills in the whole screen, the game would actually just be on the top left corner in a small area. And I don't want that. I want it to stretch to the size of the viewport. So once again, we resized our display, any numbers that we wanted to. If we're not happy about that size, we can change. We resized the, we set the mode to start as maximized, so it should fill the whole screen. And then we have it set as viewport. So we click close, and now we can click play, and we should have Godot window pop up, filling the screen. And yes, because we don't have anything on there, this is what we see. We see the black bars because the height is a little bit shorter than the width. So we can make it a little bit taller, if that's possible. But we actually notice too that the blue screen, the blue bar got smaller. Let's draw something in our tile map inside here. And sorry, still in erase mode here. Good. And now, and the reason I'm seeing that line there is because I had this one selected, which has a border. So I should be using this one instead, and that'll fill it in. Okay, and that looks nice. So when I click play, let's see what it looks like on the big screen. Great. Okay, so if I close that out, we only have one final thing to do. We'll once again save many times, Command S. We have already finished the tools we need to build our level. We've made our tile map that we can now use to paint anywhere we want to, and we just need to make a quick character. So in this character here, I don't know why that's sticking up there, but okay, that's fine. This character here is what we want to be movable by the left, right, up, down keys. And we'll be able to configure that later too. But most importantly, again, we saved this as a character body 2D, which we renamed as Godot character. And see how it's not happy? It's not happy because every physical object needs a collision box. And currently it does not have a collision shape at all. So we need to add a child to this tree node. So add a child, and we type in collision, and we can choose collision shape 2D. Click create. And now the character body 2D is happy. There's no more angry there, but collision shape is not happy because collision shape knows that it's going to be a collision shape, but it doesn't know what shape it will be. So we just need to go over here into the properties on the inspector and choose what shape. We're going to change the shape to just a simple rectangle, new rectangle shape, and then we can zoom in here. Okay, before we resize this, let's go to the root again, which is the character body. Click on the root, and then we want to bring in some sort of a picture for our character. In my case, I'm going to be lazy. I will just use Godot. So I will drag in the Godot icon. And as I drag it in, I'm going to show you, I'm not dragging it in directly on the center. And actually, it's quite hard to get it directly on the center perfectly. So here's the trick to get it right back to the center where it would be, where it should be, honestly. is if you're really having a hard time with that, just go over to the transform after you dragged it in, transform, and then hit that position reset. That resets it to 0, 0. So now we have Godot placed 0, 0, and we have collision shape, which we can only see because the icon is on top of it, so we can't see it. But if we choose collision shape, we can now see the collision shape is much smaller than Godot. Godot is too big though. So let's transform Godot to be smaller. Now you can do this many ways. You can scale him down, or my preferred way is you can go to transform and change the scale to 0.2 or whatever you want to. And then if we go to collision shape, we can see collision could be a little bit bigger, so we'll drag out those dots. And I'm keeping it inside Godot because it looks a little bit better that way. Okay, so now I press Command S to save, and I go back to level, and on the level root, I can click in and drag in my Godot character, like this. If I click play, however, we should see physics, because the character is set to have physics, and that it doesn't. I'm not sure why not. Interesting. Let's go back to character. Okay, well, no problem. Let's add a script and that will fix it. So on Godot character, on the root node, we click on add. So once again, we're in Godot character scene. We need to do one more final addition. On the character, we add a script, which is to say that it's going to have some logic behind what it does. We're going to allow it to have a template, and the template is character body 2D basic movement. That's it. So we'll just leave that as on. Make sure that this is set as character body template. Some of you might have it set as node default. That's not good. And make sure that template is clicked. So template on, character body 2D basic movement, and then we just click create. Now if we click Command S, we go back to our level, and we click. Let's go to 2D view so we just see what we're doing. And we click on play. We now have, once it starts, yep, we now have a character that can jump around and interact with the world. And if you want to build a better world to interact with, you just click on Tilemap, and then you can put any objects that you want to anywhere you'd like. And click play. All right. I think that just about does it. We can do one more thing, although I don't remember how to do this, so just give me a second. But if you notice, there is a problem with how the Godot character looks. When we click play, he looks very ugly, and that has to do with how he's rendering his texture. So I believe if we open up the Godot character, we go to his icon, which is actually a sprite 2D node. So we just click on icon, which is just the data for how it will look. We go over here on the right side and we choose texture. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we choose texture, we choose filter, and we choose nearest. And this is just the style of texturing that you would want to do if you want it to look like a pixel platformer game. So it will look less fuzzy and it will look much more like a pixel character, which, because we're making a pixel game and everything is 18 pixels by 18 pixels, that means there's really only 18 pixels across this box. We probably should resize our character to even be 18 pixels wide, but that's for you guys to experiment with. So we have the basics. You can build any level that you want to, and we'll add other collisions and interactions later.